So I decided I'm going to build this board and this stop and stuff to make this wedgie and cut a piece of flooring in half, and it's all sort of from scratch at 7.5 degrees and glaring tabletop on the saw. And along comes another wedgie that I think is about 30 degrees, and set that up and then move on to whacking away at a piece of plywood here and bolting things together until I get to okay, we're kind of set up here. This looks like something we can work with. It's all gnarly and gnashed up. Oh, well, look what it made. There's a ring. It's got a circle and oh, how did they get in here? Well, they hung around the backyard, I guess. But the circle is 22 pieces. What do you make of that? I'm thinking, well, I'll talk about it later. So I go in and I talk with the wife. We got to have a cup of coffee and think this over. I glued it together and made it look like. So I want to make a wreath out of that. I'll write welcome. Oh, it's got too many big squares. How come? Oh, well, I ran out of small wood, and so I had to make the big wood out of it. And I'm still drinking coffee, and she's telling me how much it ought to be a wreath. And we're gonna make a bunch of those, aren't we, for the holidays? And, well, it goes on like that for a while, and finally I go back. I'm gonna make another one out of some maple and alder. I didn't mention that in the movie upcoming, but that's what it is. It's okay. The stop is underway. It works now, and the insert's in place with a deflector on it, and it looks like I'm ready to. That's what makes these circles look like this, and straight down on the coffee. And then I got some movie coming up here. So I saw this thing online about segmentology, how to make segments. It started a couple of nights ago with this wedgie board here, which can be purchased commercially, but I thought I was making a 30-degree wedgie board. And off of that design, I find other information on YouTube about how to design one of these boards so that it slides, including the slide right there, which has a screw in it that adjusts the board against the right side to accomplish a consistent approach to the blade. And then found some washers and nuts and bolts and things around the shop to assemble. I did have a router issue because I didn't do it right, but that's okay. I bruised up the wood a little bit more so that I got a swing on that. Started out with this little protractor affair here to make things right. So the first thing that come off that wedgie, which I named a 30-degree wedgie, is not a 30-degree wedgie. Because when I add up the parts, it's 22 parts. And a true 30-degree wedgie should make 24. So what I discover is, doing the math, it turns out it's a 16.36 times 2 is a 32.82 degree wedgie. Not 30, it's 32.82. I'll just make a little note on there because it come out exactly 22 pieces. And I've not sanded off any of the fuzzies or anything like that. It just fit. This really works. It's cool. So, on our way to segmentology land. Try it, it's simple. Here's the stop for the wedgie bed. Right now I'm cleaning it up. One of the last steps here, I think. There's a little knobby here that goes on top and causes it to cinch. Brought a bolt up from the bottom there, and set some guides on either side of the bottom piece to keep the slide rail square to the blade. It's just a real nice fit there. So I just glued it up 5 minutes ago. We're waiting on that. wedgie board project. How do you get that? Well, here's the second ring. Completed just a few minutes ago off of a maple, hardwood, of course, and it was after completing the stop here earlier today, and the bed yesterday slid, and a insert with a cast off. It all makes it happen. So the curiosity here is that I have 22 pieces. It's a snug fit. I just fingernailed off some feathers. 22 pieces. The math on that, I think, is 16.36, which is okay, but there it is. So I see this thing about segmentology, making little wedgie pieces for reassembly in lathe turning and in other projects, and so I built this wedgie board here by starting out with what I thought to be a 30-degree wedgie of my own. I built it wider than many of those in production because I thought one day I might want to make a big wide circle. 3.5, 4-inch wide boards or something, and make a big circle. Because most of them have pieces like this in mind. So, having finished this project, according to some online instructions from YouTube, including the little screw-in wedgie thing there that keeps the board up tight against this line, which dictates everything we want to know about what's happening on the blade. Once that is established as a straight line, we have a real good progress. I live next to a street which is very noisy. And so I assembled what I thought was going to be a 16-piece thing, which I'm pretty happy to say has very good lines. It just happens that I ran out of the narrow stuff before I was done making a complete circle, so I found another piece of plywood to complete the test and wedged the rest of the balance of it out, and it turned out to be a 22-piece segmentology. What? 22? Well, the math works out on that to something like 16.36 degrees. And I realized it doesn't matter what you set these things at, something close will do. Instead of having a 24 at 15 degrees, which I thought was the cumulative for that wedgie, I ended up with 22 because it's a 16 plus a few odd minutes of degree. So I'm pretty happy with the progress and accomplishment here. I did have some goofy routering issues, such as were pronounced on the YouTube movie that I watched. If you don't watch this carefully, you'll goof it up. So I had to do some bruising that old piece of plywood. But otherwise, some screws from around the shop and some goofiness, and I did it. And I'm real pleased. These have not been sanded or in any other way buffed up to straighten them out. I simply set them out. I even forgot to do alternating lines on that top wide bunch, and yet they worked out. I just, okay, I'll take them off one as each they go, and assemble it, and it's a circle. Nice fit. Yeah. So there you go. Adios. The coffee you saw in the cup did not come from this can. Actually, it's newer. This is my new friend Cody. He's got all kinds of tree cutting experience. He's bringing me some wood. The wife, that would be my dear bride Maria of many, many years. Thank you, dear.